Greetings, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. And here are your hosts, the Hot Pockets impresario, Johnny Bottles, and the neckbeard psychologist, Dr. Don Wayne. Greetings.
She almost said greetings again. She's so happy to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Johnny Bottles. Welcome to the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. We've got a big show today. We've got a lot of TV to talk about. We've got to talk about Monday Night Raw. We've got to talk about AEW Dynamite. We've got to talk about AEW contract drama again. We got to talk about a few people.
There's contract drama?
Contract drama, again, yes.
I must have missed that one.
Pal, you know all the talk that's going on. Well, we'll get to it later.
Okay.
We'll get to it later. And people that are mysteriously vanished from AEW programming. Who could they be? We'll get to all of this and more. Don, what do you got first?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out to Larry down in New Orleans. Larry withstood the hurricane. I heard from him today. He's okay. He's a regular viewer of the show with a friend of mine. I am glad he's okay. I want to send out thoughts and prayers to all those folks in New Orleans. Hoping you guys are getting through this. That is, I've gone through one bad hurricane in my life here in Central Virginia, and we lost power for 3 weeks, and it was the worst endeavor I've ever had to go through, taking a cold shower for 3 weeks. It was horrible. So praying for you guys. And real quick personal note, just found out my aunt passed away, but we're going to get through this show. God bless you, Sandra. Having said all that, thank you all for joining. Please like and subscribe to the program. There may be some few new folks out there because today was the day that Twitter went wild because the brand new ratings came in for AEW. We're going to get to all that. We got a quarter-by-quarter breakdown. Johnny Bottles found it. Thank God. Thank you for that, Johnny Bottles. There's a few notes, though, you wanted to go over. Do you want to start the I don't want to go over Raw because it's been 3 days now. I don't want to get too involved in it. I just want to do a quick once-over on it. But is there any news that you have from the day that really got your attention? I've got one tidbit from one Mr. Bret Hart.
Let's hear that one.
Comments?
No, I have not.
Bret Hart. So Bret Hart was on Raw, which we're going to talk about because that was a big deal to this show to have Bret Hart back on because he's not been so nice here as of late. The guy's kind of wishy-washy, in my opinion. He rips on Triple H 1 minute, and then today he says, "There's not that many from my generation that are around anymore, so running into Triple H is always a pleasure." Wasn't that long ago? One Bret Hart was ripping Triple H for all he had.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, it really wasn't that long ago. It was just a year or so ago where he was just ripping him left and right. He got there by sleeping with the boss's daughter. He wasn't all that. He was never a great worker. He wasn't good on the mic. And I'm not one of the biggest Triple H fans of all time, but you can't deny his star power. The guy drew $1. If there's one thing Triple H could do, he could make that little needle move somewhat. He drew money. He was a big-time star. And for Bret to say that, maybe he's backtracking a little. I don't know. What do you think?
I think a nice fat paycheck for a Monday Night Raw appearance will change a man's opinion of another man. That's what I think. I think Bret Hart will sell out Bret Hart to the highest bidder. He's already done that. He's sold Bret Hart to AEW for a little while. He debuted the new AEW championship title, held that up in the ring. Made a couple appearances over there, like a putz, and now he's back where he belongs. He's back in the fold, if you will, back in the crook of Triple H's arm. Hey, pal, good to see you, pal.
But when he says from the same generation,
they're not from the same generation. You could argue that, Don. You could argue that
age-wise, I think they are.
Bret was on WCW. Doing what he was doing over there when Triple H hit it big with DX and the Attitude Era.
My whole thing is, though, is that Triple H made it big in the late 90s through the mid-2000s. Bret Hart started wrestling in the 70s. He was a pro in the 70s through the 80s and 90s. Like, he wrestled over 20 years. So it's kind of like a passing of ships, like my ship's coming in and yours just going out sort of thing. Ships passing in the night in wrestling. So
yes, their eyes met across a smoke-filled room. Yes,
they did something like that.
But the thing with Triple H is, I mean, if you look at Bret Hart, okay, his career, you might not have had the Attitude Era if it wasn't for Bret Hart. and what he did, and the shoot promos, the cursing on the air. When he had the New Hart Foundation, which was Neidhart, Pillman, Quinn, all those guys, the Bulldogs, when they were all alive. Huh?
Owen Hart.
I said Owen, yes. I did say
I didn't hear you. Sorry.
They were all in there. It was a formidable group of guys there. Formidable group of guys.
Denisha says, "Hey, Donna Bottles, your favorite girls here." Hey, Denisha, thank you for $1.99. Super chat is open. If you got something to say, trust me, we're going to get to AEW. I promise you, we're going to get there.
Yes.
So everybody hold on to your takes. We're going to get there. Let's not put the cart before the horse.
You say hold on to your taints?
No.
What'd you say? What'd you just say?
Your horses.
You didn't say horses.
Well, I might have said something, but it won't taints.
Okay. Wasn't sure.
And if I did, go with it, pal. It's a shoot.
I'm going with it, pal. I'm asking, pal. Yeah.
That's not all that happened today. There was a little bit of a scuttlebutt over some remarks from, you're not going to believe this, Mercedes Moné. Did you see this making headlines today?
No, I did not. What did Mercedes Moné have to say?
She wrote on one of her
did she say
scraps or something.
Did she say Sheeta's got a great right hand?
I believe that was the next tweet. No, she said, All Out was extremely violent. And honestly, Daniel Bryan's stuff was tough to watch. I have mixed emotions. When done right, that kind of stuff can tear a roof off like Daniels did. However, I wouldn't want my brother Joshua to watch stuff like that, or kids for that matter. She pointed out that the audience loves the extreme and some catering to them will be done. She can't blame the wrestlers or the promotions for doing those types of matches. Moné credits wrestlers for using that style, but she is personally at a spot where she would like to avoid extreme matches unless they add value to the company.
Who would have thought that Mercedes Moné would be the voice of reason in AEW? The one who had common sense in AEW. Who would have thought that? Who had that on their scorecard for the 18 holes of golf? Mercedes Moné makes sense. Hey, the CEO is good shop here. Who in the God's name would think that Mercedes Moné would be the voice of reason in AEW? Jesus H. Christ on a cracker.
My man Pablo for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you. He says, salute my guys in chat. Don't forget to give that thumbs up. Thank you very much. Remind everybody, hit that thumbs up, notification button. We are live and in color. Appreciate it, man. Always appreciate it, Pablo. Appreciate you guys for showing up today. I'm definitely going to need it. It's kind of odd to me that they turned on her because she said this. Like, there was some outcry from the neckbeards that just completely went over the top with this. Very much upset. Like, I didn't get it. Like, I don't personally, I'm not a big fan of seeing women beat the shit out of each other until they bleed all over the place. I'm not a fan of that style of women's wrestling. Call it sexist, call it whatever you want.
What do it cause for her to bleed? What are they try to write something for her to actually gig herself? And since she's got creative control, allegedly, she's going to say, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. There's going to be a big stink raised. Speaking of raising a big stink, Don.
Uh-oh.
Where's Britt Baker?
I don't know, and that was very noticeable last night. This has been quite a few shows that she has not appeared on. Have you heard anything about her? Do you know where she is? Is she hiding in a cave?
She hasn't been seen since All In Wembley. She hasn't been seen since. The brawl that was in the back, allegedly between someone in production and a superstar, AEW superstar, a worker, on the night of All Out, right before the Daniel Bryan match, or as you would say, Daniel Bryanson, right when that match was taking place, or about to, security in the house ran to the back to separate a couple people, couple employees. Now, someone was there doing a pre-tape. Allegedly. Somebody was there doing a pre-tape and, doing backstage interviews. So they have them in a can. And it was someone who wasn't booked on the show. Britt Baker was not booked on the show. They said someone who was not on the show got into it with someone in production. I don't believe that for a hot minute. I believe Britt Baker got into it with either Moné, who was not on the show Wednesday. Not on that show.
You love to spread rumors and conjecture. You live for this shit. You live for it.
The Tony Khan public relations apparatus that he uses, all the dirt sheet writers, they are sworn to secrecy about what has happened. Oh, it's just a big nothing burger, Sapp said. Alvarez pointed it out first from the Wrestling Observer website. He pointed out the great Brian Alvarez, also known as Wesley Crusher from Star Trek Generations. Brian Alvarez, he looks like he's a 14-year-old boy with gray hair. And he said that there was a backstage scuffle, and it's like a history of this thing in this company. And we don't know exactly, we can't get a clear picture of who it was and what took place, but it was someone who was not booked for the show, got into it doing a pre-tape with someone else. So if you just, dude, you have to connect the dots and all this bullshit. You have to connect the dots.
Still waiting to, I'm not going to say it didn't happen, but I want to see if anything else comes in because they're trying to sweep this under the rug as quickly as possible. Sean Ross Sapp did his PR job immediately, said it didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. This is all fabricated. I don't know how we go from there was a scuffle in the back to nothing to see here overnight. That doesn't make any sense. The math ain't mathing to me, quite honestly.
You could go watch the press scrum from after All Out that they love having because they all like to, toot each other's horn, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, they weren't there.
They weren't there. Tony Khan came out. He did a 30-minute press scrum, just him, no one else. He looked like someone shot his dog. He looked like someone from Springfield, Ohio, hung his dog and gutted it and decided to fry it on the stovetop. That's what he looked like. He looked sad. And he didn't know what to do. Renee Paquette, Moxley Young, whatever her name is, good. She looked sad. She looked shocked. And she gave him a little pat of encouragement on the shoulder. I guess she would have swept him up into her loving arms and give him a big hug if all those people weren't there. No. But
we got a question I want to get to.
But all I know is something big went down and it shook the foundation of AEW. But go ahead.
Denisha wants to know, do you guys like to watch TNA? It's been really good. She gave us $1.99, so I figured she'd get a question, and I got no problem with that. I don't watch it. I don't really have enough time, Denisha. I just don't. Between SmackDown, AEW, and Raw, and the PLEs, I just don't have enough time in the day to watch all that. I got to make sure my family's taken care of. I got to cut grass and make sure my magic windows work. So I don't know that I'll be watching it anytime soon. However, there was some big up-and-comings on NXT. Some TNA stars showed up there. So that was kind of exciting. I saw the highlights of that. I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Some of their bigger stars from that program are coming over to NXT. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. What were the names again? The two big guys?
Alexander Hammerstone.
Yes, Hammerstone.
Yes.
And wasn't there another one?
Rosemary has been popping in and out. Rosemary had like a undead girl, like a zombie girl gimmick. Not as bloody as Abaddon, not as unsettling looking as the great Abaddon from AEW. But she made her debut with new makeup, and I think she's been rocking that look for a while now. First time I've seen it. The last time I saw TNA was during the Naomi era, when Naomi was in TNA. Right. I popped in to see what they were doing with her, and it wasn't much. She was a champ, the Knockouts champ for a while, but then again, who do they have for Knockouts champs? Jordan Grace. Who do they have?
I'm not. No, we're not. No. I did want to talk about one other piece of news before we keep going, though. Big news dropped today. WWE said they are cutting back on live events in 2025, and ticket prices could increase as a result. Did you see that? So from 2023 to 2024, they cut back from 300 shows to about 250. Next year, they plan on going from 250 to 200. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, maybe they're looking at the books and saying, you know what? It's not worth the wear and tear on our athletes to do this many shows for the buck that we're getting out of this show, right? I mean, it makes all the sense in the world to me. Why have them run all these dates, plus the PLEs, plus the tapings, plus everything else, plus all the stuff they're doing on social media? Like, let's sort of wind this down and get this all bunched into one big group so that we can stop, essentially wearing our athletes down. I think it's a good idea. I got no problem with it, to be quite honest. The live house shows are not what they used to be, right? When I've talked about this, the first show I went to was just a house show. It was a house show. Let me say it again. It was a house show that drew 14,000 people on a Thursday night in Salt Lake City.
Right.
It was a sellout hanging from the rafters. They don't do those kinds of house shows anymore because it's become a TV product. Wrestling has evolved from you've got to see it every week, and we've talked about this on the show, from you've got to see it every week to now it's a TV show. You can catch up on it. You can DVR it. You can watch it on the weekend, watch the clips that you like and fast forward the rest, which is what a lot of fans do nowadays. I don't want to watch 3 hours of this. I'm just going to watch the parts that get me. So I thought that was a pretty big deal that they're going to cut that back.
Just house shows, just the minor markets. I'm sure they're still going to do a house show in Madison Square Garden and, Chicago, Detroit, Florida, Orlando, all the major cities will do house shows. But, if you're in Des Moines, Iowa or Kenscocken, Ohio, you're out of luck. If you're in Bug Tussle, Indiana, you're not getting a house show. You're not going to see them at all.
Right. Those days are over. The small town C, B shows are over. You've got to have a major market. I don't think you're going to get this show. There was one other thing. Batista was in the news this weekend, not for the good reasons.
Batista,
I hope he's not sick. Don't say it. I hope he's not sick. I swear to God, I'm going to say that first. So I'm not going to slight the man, but he's lost 150 pounds, and that's no joke.
Allegedly, he stopped doing the steroids. He wore a suit, a full body suit, in the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie because he couldn't work out like that anymore. He's got a lot of aches and pains. He couldn't do the workouts. He couldn't maintain that physique at his age. Dave's close to 60.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the same problem with Hugh Jackman. You're going to have the same problem with Jackman coming up because those guys, those Hollywood actors, well, the Hollywood actors do steroids to get in shape for roles that demand taking your shirt off, looking like a superhero and all that. They haven't been shooting stuff into their butt cheeks since, 25 years he's been a wrestler?
I guarantee you he didn't
20?
Stop. He was still doing it. He just wasn't wrestling and doing it. He was on the Dwayne Johnson kick.
Right.
He wasn't clean. He just wasn't doing Annabelle as much anymore. He was doing the other stuff. Now he doesn't look like he's doing anything. It kind of scared me when I saw him. Like it was off-putting to see him because he looked like he'd lost a ridiculously large amount of weight at a quick time, and it didn't look healthy.
He lost an entire person, 150 pounds. Yeah. That's a good-sized woman right there, 150 pounds. That's what he lost. And if you saw pictures of him now, it's a little off-putting. He looks like a Filipino business tycoon. That's what he looks like. Thin, nice suit, paisley suit like Ric Flair wears, the pimp suit, a lot of jewelry, freakishly small head. He just looks pencil neck. It's very bizarre. You'd be hard-pressed to say. You'd be hard-pressed to say, that's Dave Batista. Look at him. Isn't he great?
Look at the head on that boy. It's got its own orbit.
He looks like a tack.
It's got satellites around it. You want to talk about Raw? I do want to talk about Raw some. I don't want to cover it in depth, but there were some highlights I wanted to hit up real quick. You liked the opening match of Raw. You said it had it all.
I did.
Here's some of my issues with this.
There was no syringes. There were no plastic bags.
I didn't mind that.
No chairs.
My issue is that it's just one of those. There's freaking 4 million kendo sticks in the ring. I didn't like the women get involved physically with the men. I didn't like that. I'm sorry. Call me old-fashioned. Call me sexist. I didn't like that at all. It shouldn't be that way. I'm sorry. Get over it.
There'll be more of that on Netflix.
Jesus Christ. I hope the hell not. Did you like?
Have you heard what they're going to do with Netflix? They don't want to have a finite runtime. They want to go maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes. If they want to go 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Got you.
3 hours and 25 minutes.
We have to go 3 hours. It's let's do the show. Let's do a quality show. And let's get the hell out of here when it's time to get out of here. I actually kind of like that idea. I like that. But I'm sure it's in the contract. You must go at least 2.5 hours, something like that. I'm sure is in there. I'd imagine so.
Sure. And they will have commercials.
And they also announced this week that starting on in October, when Raw gets that extension through the rest of the year, Raw's going from a 3-hour show to a 2-hour show.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that as well. We've been saying for a while now, please cut back the 3-hour show. Go back to 2 hours. It makes it much more entertaining. I can sit through 2 hours of TV entertainment much easier than I can that third hour. It just drags on. There's a reason that whole damn joke is Raw rolls on. Oh my God, does it ever sometimes. So you like this opening segment. They also had the Judgment Day segment, which I thought was pretty good. Finn Balor came out, blah, blah, blah. They're setting that up. The big thing, of course, was the Bret Hart segment. I thought that was the biggest segment of the match or the night. And I want to talk about that real quick. Bret Hart's in the ring, and out comes the one and only Gunther. And Gunther gets in the ring and says, "You're my second favorite wrestler. My favorite wrestler is Goldberg." That's a mic drop moment if I ever saw one. Don't tell me Gunther can't cut a promo ever again. That's a mic drop moment if there ever was one. I laughed like hell. I enjoyed this so much. It was right on the money. Every wrestling fan knows how much Bret Hart despises Goldberg, rips him every chance he gets. It was so perfectly done. And did you see what Dave Meltzer said with his dumbass tweet?
I'm blocked by Dave Meltzer, so I can't see what he tweets.
Well, so am I, but I get sent the screenshots. He said the original plan was to have CM Punk come out there and then have Drew McIntyre get involved somehow and come out there and rip him the same way. And I was like, why? What? They don't need this. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, and then he said, which, by the way, it would have made more sense because he's a much bigger star and Gunther's not over.
Gunther's not over.
He's not over.
Bret Hart said that. I mean, no. Meltzer said that.
Meltzer did, yes.
Gunther's not over.
Yeah.
Tony Khan would give his left testicle and his right arm to get Gunther signed to AEW. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
That's what the man said.
If Gunther wanted to go to AEW, Tony Khan would welcome him with those open, loving arms. The same arms that hugged Okada like he was his long-lost son. Go ahead.
That's all that I remember out of Raw. It's been 3 days. Like I said, I've had a lot going on. What did you remember?
Does he have Alzheimer's? Dave Meltzer. He's 65 now. Does he have Alzheimer's?
I don't know.
It's just unbelievable, dude. It's unbelievable.
What else do you remember?
I remember the lovely and talented Natalya made her re-debut.
Oh, did she? I don't remember that.
Yes, she was there. Yes. She put the she was the tag team partner with Lyra Valkyria. They had a mystery partner. It was Lyra. I'm looking it up right now. Pardon me.
Lyra's been missing lately too, hasn't she? She hasn't really been around, has she?
She was on NXT, helping out her old friend from NXT in a war that she had down there. Natalya, Lyra Valkyria, and Zelina Vega defeated the lesbians. The three L's.
The three L's. Thank you. Good.
The three L's. Defeated the three L's. Even though Zoe Stark, I heard, is married to a man.
I don't. I want to thank everybody again for watching tonight. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notifications button. Here we go. BC Emulate. I want to throw this up real quick because he told me he was going to see him. Said, guys, I saw Sid 4 weeks before he passed. His weight loss was immense, and people were even talking about him being sick then. Yes. That was sad. I agree. And he had pictures, so I want to make sure, because he was hooking us up with all kinds of information while he was there. I really appreciate that. He was sending out screenshots. Hey, here's this. So I appreciate it. Want to make sure I give him a shout out real quick.
So what happened with that match was...
We got to come up with a name for him. Besides the 3 L's, it's got to be something else. It's got to be 2LS. 2LS. That's what they're going to be now from now on.
2LS.
Yes, I'll tell you about it later. If you figure it out, you figure it out.
At any rate, Natalya threw one of the girls in a sharpshooter, and then Valkyria and Zelina Vega threw their opponents in a sharpshooter. All 6 women were in the ring, and they all tapped out simultaneously. It was a pretty cool sequence to see, but I didn't really care for the match. But it is what it is. And McIntyre came out, and they sealed the deal with the match of Bad Blood. Don, it's going to be Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, they've been hyping up this Bad Blood. They're starting to make a big push for it. SmackDown It's coming this tomorrow night. I can't wait. I'm excited to see this. I want to see if it looks different. Does it feel different? That's sort of where I'm going, man. I'm looking forward to it. That's all I remember. I don't think we need to cover Raw much more because this shit show we watched last night is going to take a while.
Jey Uso is the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Jey Uso.
Good for him. Good for him.
Okay.
Please don't give it to him.
You know they're going to.
I want to talk about what I watched last night. And it's not in a good way. I thought this show was absurdly, how do I put it? It started off like it wanted to be a WWE sports entertainment show and then quickly degraded into something I didn't recognize. As far as how the matches were done, how these known wrestlers were wrestling jobbers forever, like the women's champion. I want to get to that. What was the overall ratings for this show, Bottles? Was it 716,000, I believe, coming off of their
You are
big
correct, sir.
pay-per-view?
You are correct, sir. You are correct.
So coming off of their huge pay-per-view, they did 716, which, by the way, Raw did, I think, 1.45 million this week against Monday Night Football. Here's the thing. Did you see that they held most of their key demo? Their key demo didn't go down very much, which kind of surprised me, to be quite honest.
Who's that? Raw?
Raw, yeah, their key demo held. You know what that tells me?
What's that tell you?
You know what that tells me? People hate Aaron Rodgers and they're not going to watch him. He's such a douche canoe. Oh.
Well.
Let's get into it.
Where you want to go first? Let's do it.
What's the first quarter hour rating? What's the first quarter hour rating? I want to see.
I'll tell you what the start was. The start was 888,000. And
this
that
makes sense. This makes
coming
sense.
off of Big Bang Theory.
And here's why. I actually turned on my DVR like I always do, and I want to see how long the Big Bang Theory went this week. Did you notice it went exceedingly long this week? I don't know if you noticed this or not.
I didn't see that. I just fast forward through the Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
Whatever piece of business they're doing at the end of that show, I fast forward through and don't pay attention to it.
I'm not paying attention to the show. I mean, my God, the laugh track is enough to drive a sane man crazy. This thing ran over a minute into AEW's lead-in show. Like, it ran over a minute. It was 8:01 and some change before this thing started. And they started off with Jon Moxley. Hanging out, once again in a parking lot, looking disheveled like a hobo. And he says
hanging out with Marina Shafir, hanging out with Roderick Strong's wife, and no one says anything about that.
I don't give a shit about that personally behind the scenes. That's null and void to me. But he says he didn't enjoy beating up Daniel Bryanson. Bryan Danielson, I know. Deal with it. Said they were supposed to be building the company. The promo wouldn't be bad if it wasn't for Mox. I didn't understand where this was going. I didn't understand his point and what he was trying to get across. What was his message?
It's talking for the sake of talking. It's no message. It's no message. You'll find out at a match when he has his big match at Grand Slam or whatever it's going to be. He'll probably divulge everything, how it's going to happen. More people will be in his faction. Right now, it's looking like Claudio and Marina Shafir. That's it. You haven't seen Claudio, though, just at All Out. He's got Strong's wife walking around with him. I'm not saying it's anything behind the scenes. I'm just saying there's no logic involved here, because why don't the interviewers say to Roderick Strong when he's being interviewed, hey, why is your wife running around with Jon Moxley?
I don't care about that.
Why don't they just
care about any of that? I don't care.
It's just another reason why I hate this company.
I don't care about that because that's the behind the scenes stuff. I don't care about that stuff.
It's not behind the scenes.
Bro, Dominic Mysterio married and he's running around with different women. Like, if you want to get into the open the can of what's really happening here,
they've said on the air that Marina Shafir is married to Roderick Strong. Why don't they say in an interview when Renee is interviewing Roderick Strong, surrounded by all the goofs, just say, what's going on with Moxley and your wife? What are they having? Who are they fighting against? Why are they mad? Why is she beating people up backstage? You know he's going to be moved over to that faction sooner or later, but go ahead.
It just doesn't pertain to the story for me. Like, that part of it, I don't care about. I don't care that Renee Moxley Good is married to Jon Moxley. You don't
care about any logic at all. As long as there's no logic involved. You don't care about any logic.
Bro,
professional.
behind the scenes, real life stuff I don't care about unless it's being used on screen. Then talk to me. It's just they're not using it, so it doesn't bother me. What does bother me is that Moxley was coming out here talking to us like a representative of the UN. What did he keep saying over and over again? The word he kept using all night?
Diplomacy has failed.
Diplomacy has failed. What are we talking about here? And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but what does that even mean? Are we talking about the Young Bucks who are heels and they've been trying to work with them? What diplomacy? The diplomacy with the owner of the company? With the champions? What are we talking about here?
He tried to kill a man at a pay-per-view with a plastic bag over his head, and he's still working for the company. The Young Bucks haven't suspended him. They haven't fired him. They haven't done anything like that. The next, they're going to have a shotgun on a pole match, him and Bryan Danielson, if he ever gets that championship match. Shotgun on a pole match. I'll just blow somebody's head off. Is that what I got to do to get fired around here? That's what I'm going to do. It makes no sense. When I'm talking about logic, no one can walk up to Renee Young and say, "What's up with your old man? What the hell is going on around here? He tried to kill Bryan Danielson. Have you talked to him? What's his motivation? What's the deal?" You don't hear anybody say that to her. What's she going to do? She just stands there holding a microphone like,
she's not part of the story. I'm not going to get involved in the real life situations. I'm not doing that. What got me was the diplomacy that he kept talking about, because I'm like, I want to talk about this later, but it just really confused the shit on me because it just doesn't make any sense. And then to close the segment, Jon Moxley opens up the storage of the back of the Jeep and crawls in like a stepchild to ride off into the night. Like he's been punished to get in the back of the station wagon. You get back there, you bastard child. You're not riding up here with us. You sit in the back. There's 3 people in the Jeep, and he gets in the trunk, essentially. What are we doing? What are we doing?
It's low-rent garbage is what it is. Low-rent garbage. He's writing his own shit, obviously, and it's just low-rent crap.
I'm going to need you to get the trunk of the car bottles for going on a trip.
Hey, you can get a ticket for that, people say. Old lady's seen you crawl into the back of the Jeep in a parking lot, a gas station. You're going to get a ticket. Go ahead.
And then we get your favorite segment, I'm sure, of the night, was Christian Cage came out with his family adieu. Because this all ran in the first 15 minutes, so I want to make sure we get this, right? I want to make sure we get this all down. Christian Cage cuts a good heel promo. I don't mind his heel promo. But he says, and this is where I was like, here we go again with the logical fallacies. I don't get it. When Kill Switch grabbed me by the throat and looked me in the eyes, I could tell that the light bulb went off. And then we get the Luchasaurus chants.
They've been wanting this guy to turn on him for a year now, and nothing's happened.
But he said he's choking me in the match, and that's what I knew. He was going to be the guy that I needed him to be. He said he's the best big man in the business. And while he's saying this, I'm looking behind Christian Cage.
They're the same size.
At the mom. No, at the mother of this group, whatever her name is. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care what her name is. She's damn near as tall as Luchasaurus Rex. She's almost his height. And this guy is
big high heels.
She's a big high heels. She's a tall woman.
Yes, and she's wearing those big high heels. And she's the best big woman in the business, Don. He was going to say that, but he got interrupted. She's the best big woman in the business with her skillet face and wearing the same clothes every week. She's fantastic.
I have no idea what the hell this was. But when he said that, I was like, that bitch is huge. That's a huge bitch. That's all I can think.
There's a locker in the back in the women's locker room. It's got Mama Wayne on it. And it's got one outfit hanging in there. And she's wearing that outfit every week. One outfit. Go ahead.
That was the end of the promo. That was it. He just said, I'm going to cash in this contract eventually and I'm out of here. At least they gave him like a damn briefcase sort of thing to walk around with instead of a stupid chip so that you knew there was some sort of a stipulation on it. That much I agree with. And then we get your favorite guy, Don Callis. Your other favorite guy, Don Callis.
Don Callis.
He says Kyle Fletcher and Ocean Spray need to team together tonight to win this gauntlet match in the tag team. And Takeshita gets pissy with him. Like, he's not happy this is happening. You can sort of see Don Callis is about to be out on his ass here soon. You can see that build-up coming. They're going to all turn on him eventually, and he's going to have to start over. I have no idea where they're going to go with that, and I don't care. I like Don Callis on the mic, but this whole faction makes no sense from day one. It doesn't make sense now. Do something else with him. Get him another faction that makes sense. This shit ain't it. Was that the end of segment 1, by the way? I can't remember if that was or not.
Yes. That all was in the 8 to 8:15 bracket of time right there.
Right.
And, at 8:15, we were at 704,000 viewers at 8:15.
Hold on.
Well, you left out a match. There was a match involved. There was a match.
I don't think I left it out.
You left out Jack Perry versus Leo Rush.
That was next, wasn't it?
That was in the from 8 to 8:15.
It started there,
quick.
But it ended.
It might have ended at
8:30.
It could have.
It did. Trust me.
Well,
whatever.
whatever.
Written down. It started there. 700 and what?
704,000.
And they started with what? 888.
888. Yeah.
They
Jack
lost
Perry.
184,000 people in 15 minutes.
Jack Perry. You had a cornucopia, a treasure trove of garbage. You had Moxley talking no sense whatsoever. You had Christian and his family of misfits, the Addams family. Then you had the Bruv angle where they were talking about, with Don Callis and all that bullshit, with Stoneface Takeshita. And then you had Jack Perry as the cherry on top of the shit sundae. Jack Perry versus Leo Rush. Leo Rush actually deserves to be on the show more. Leo Rush is a good wrestler, and he can talk. And he's been in Ring of Honor.
Leo Rush is no more than an announcer. He's no more than an announcer. I'm sorry. And I wrote this down.
Dude, I'm looking for anybody I want to see on my TV on this show. Anybody they parade by me, I want to say, I don't want to see that anymore, or I like to see that again. I'd like to see Leo Rush again. I'm not talking about put a heavyweight championship on the guy, but have him on TV more. Put some good matches, and he can talk. But it is what it is, pal.
They announced him at 171 pounds. That's what he was announced at. That guy's not more than $150 soaking wet. He's not more than
Leo
$150.
Rush?
Yeah. That's what they announced him at, was 171 pounds. There's not a chance in 400 hell that guy's 171 pounds. Bottles.
Kayfabe weight, pal. Kayfabe weight. From Parts Unknown.
Okay.
Leo Rush at 171
I'd like
pounds.
to send him to Parts Unknown with a choke slam from The Undertaker. If he wants to be a mouthpiece and a heater, that's fine. But at his frame and his size, I cannot buy him as a professional wrestler. He is 3 inches away from being, dildo bagging size. That's what he is. He has the same size. I'm sorry. I can't buy this guy at all. They did this shit, and I said, fast forward button, engage, because I can't get through this fast enough. And Action Andretti, for whatever reason, still has a job in this company and was outside, and then he gets kicked out. Perry wins. I don't even care. Aubrey was back to her regular scheduled horse shit where she's all, oh my God.
It's horrendous. Counting 1, 2, 3. Just look at me. Look at me. Look at me on the camera. That's why she does
and
that.
She had stopped doing it so bad, though, for so long, and now she's back to it. She's doing it
again. The 2
again.
pay-per-views, pal. The 2 pay-per-views revved her up. She's doing it again. They got her all fired up.
Then, again, the worst part about this was the mass goof was so bad last night at his announcing duties. Excalibur was horrid. I couldn't get past everything he did. Because, of course, Jack Perry wins this thing. The mass goof botches the next 2 names coming up on the show tonight. Like, just slaughters them.
When you've got Taz telling you how to pronounce names, then you know you really effed up. When you got
the bad name Jones.
Bad name Jones. When you got Shivani correcting you on the air. you're a bad announcer. And Schiavone's horrendous.
The only thing that could have been worse is if I was correcting his name calls. It's actually Takeshita.
Could you get JR to come in and be the regular announcer for AEW Dynamite?
No.
By God.
No.
He's broken in half.
That man needs to worry about his health, quite honestly. So this whole thing happened.
Family. Go ahead.
They had another backstage segment with Jack Perry as he's heading to his short bus. Like he literally drives the short bus.
It's a short bus painted black. That's all it is. Seriously. It's a short bus painted black. He painted the windows black.
Has no one thought about this? You put Jack Perry in the short bus and no one thought we probably should do something else. Get a U-Haul van or something, not a short bus. I'm sorry.
Buddy, it's the shits. It's just the shits. He wants to be a tough guy. He's driving a short bus. They couldn't have rented him like a Lamborghini or a Corvette even if they want to save money and put him in that. But no. They saved the rental money for a guy who's later on in the show. Then you had Hangman Adam Page.
Oh, yes, this wonderful segment. Was this the bottom of the hour? Was that when this ended? Or are we still in the 9:15 to 9:30 range?
This would be the bottom of the hour.
Okay, what was that number?
8:30, the rating went to 685.
Oh, shut the hell up, Bottles.
No, 685 at 8:30.
You're lying.
I'm not.
You're lying.
I would put the screenshot of these ratings up on the screen, but it's promoting another podcast.
Okay, well, then we're not doing that.
So
no, I believe you. I'm just kidding. That's horrible.
Yes, that's why I'm not putting it up on there.
The Page and Strickland recap, they did that whole thing. Page interview, like they said. Did you notice that the backstage sound, was it my TV or was it really bad, like an echo going throughout the show?
Horrible.
Okay.
You could hardly hear what Jarrett was saying. It was terrible. Jeff Jarrett was trying to talk sense to Hangman Adam Page, and then he got beaten up. He was talking about him being the toughest guy, old guy, blah, blah, blah. And then he got his ass handed to him by Hangman Adam Page. It'd be a shame to take Jeff Jarrett, who's one of the few watchable guys who can work a match and get the crowd riled up, and just throw him to the dogs to wrestle a match against Hangman Adam Page and lose. And then you had the lovely Karen Jarrett there with her skin pulled back tight on her face. What? Oh, Jeff!
By the way, I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button. Give us a thumbs up. It will help our algorithm. We appreciate it very much. This whole thing, though, with Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett was the best part of this show. He actually cut a promo on him that made sense. I've done this before. I've walked in your shoes. You are going to regret this immensely if you keep this up. Why are you doing this? Like he's the old wise vet that's talking to him. It made sense. Now, I get why Jack Perry kicked the shit out of him. So I guess we're setting up a match with this. And then this is the part that you talked about. I didn't get this. Literally within seconds of Jack Perry walking away, out comes Karen Jarrett.
You mean, wait a minute. You mean Hangman Adam Page?
That's what I said when Page walked away.
You said Jack Perry. In. You called him Jack Perry twice.
Dude, they're the same guy. They're the same guy. Sorry, I'm having
Hangman Adam Perry. Jungle Boy Adam Page.
I got a lot.
Jungle Boy Adam Page.
You beat me to it. Announcer sock face Tony Trash. I like that. Tony Trash.
Tony Trash. Tony Trashvani.
Oh, that was good. Way to go, Pablo. Nice out of nowhere shot. The best part of this whole segment was, of course, Jeff Jarrett. Yes. That was the best part of it.
Yeah, of course.
Reads his notes on what the fuckery. Then we get the... I said, private party comes out with Commander. I'm out. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it. I got to get out of this segment. Don't need to see this. To my surprise, the Blackpool Combat Club attacks them. And this is what I wrote down. we've talked about Commander might be leaving, right? Isn't he the one that might be leaving? Is that the right guy? Commander might be leaving?
Commander is the botch machine. No, he's the botch.
Yes, he
machine.
is. Okay.
And
well, he's not going to work here anymore,
I hope
pal.
he does. Huh?
He can't work here anymore.
What do you mean?
Marina Shafir is choking him out when they all get attacked. She's the one that's choking out a grown man.
Oh, he's ruined then. He's ruined. Go ahead. I'm sorry. She's the size of a paperweight and she's choking out a grown man. Like just literally choked him out. And I was like, that's it. This dude's done. Last week she was throwing men up on the hoods of cars. Grown men. Backstage. So
I don't know why would you do this to this guy? There's plenty of people in the Blackpool Combat Club. Why is the woman going to kick his ass? I don't understand any of this. The logic she's not China, right? China didn't ever go out there and just kick the shit out of a guy. She low blowed you. Oh, by the way, she was 200 pounds and jacked on roids. She looked the part.
Right.
Right?
Of course. Absolutely.
I said, I can't. Pac comes out there and he's screaming enough is enough. Pac, by the way, is supposed to have an international title shot, right? Yeah. Isn't that his whole big bitch? He won the whole thing. He's supposed to have it months ago. He was supposed to be the guy in England that got the shot against the title, and it never happened.
Of course. And now he's in the Blackpool Combat Club, being a lackey for John Moxley and company.
You know what this reminded me of was the Stone Cold Steve Austin when they were going to put him in a feud with Mark Merrow, and Mark Merrow got powerbombed by Sable on TV or at a TV taping in Los Angeles, and they call Steve Austin the next day and say, "Okay, here's what we're going to do." He said, "Well, now that we're not going to do Mark Merrow, tell me what's next." And he said, "What do you mean? We're still going to go with Mark Merrow?" He said, "No, we're not. That dude just got squashed by a woman. That shit's over. Next, because I'm not doing it, bub. That ain't happening."
He was done after that. Done. This whole segment reminded me of my last colonoscopy. Something I never want to relive ever again. I don't want to see these people on my TV screen ever again. Commander, Private Party, Marina Shafir, John Moxley. Pac is the only decent one out of the group. I do like Pac. Puts on great matches.
This sucked. This just sucked. I'm going to move on. We get the Jericho segment. He pulls up in a brand new Bentley. So we're already foreshadowing something's going to happen to a brand new Bentley, which I don't understand. It doesn't have any place on TV. I don't know why you would do this. I get it. Vince McMahon pulled up in a Corvette. Yes, he did. And then it got filled with cement. Like they really destroyed the car. It also wasn't $150,000 or $200,000 car. Like we're just doing needless shit on this show. But this is what I wrote. Jericho cut a promo on this. And did you notice he was a little bit more serious?
Yeah. Yeah, he was a lot more serious.
When he does his entire thanks guys gimmick and that voice, that's over. Yeah. When he says thanks guys, that is cool. I can get behind that. But when it's the hi guys, that shit is dreadful. Dreadful. But the thanks guys in that voice.
Dude.
Well, Low Plains Drifter we can support because I need to see nipple pants every time I get a chance wrestle. I need to see that.
You better respect that, thanks, guys. They're trying. You know what? I figured out what they're trying to do with him. They're trying to make him into a. If you took Tattoo from Fantasy Island and cross blended him with Ron Simmons, that's who you got. A little short guy who likes to say, "Damn, talk like this. You better respect the authority tree."
Do you want to know what I want to hear the next time Low Plains Drifter wrestles?
Go ahead.
I want to hear Taz on the microphone. Grandpa Jones in the ring. He's got his pants up to his neck. He's ready to go.
Oh my God.
And then this is where we're just going to jump the shark because it's Ricochet versus Garcia.
Sammy Guevara.
Oh, sorry. Guevara. Sorry. Yes.
You've got your Hispanics mixed up again. But go ahead.
I've got name problems tonight, pal. I've had a long, long day, as I told you when I announced on the show before it kicked off. Sorry if I'm getting all over the place. But Sammy Guevara is there as the company that no longer has a belt. He's out there representing that company.
Yes.
The Ring of Honor, no longer on TV, champion from I don't even give a shit.
He's a tag team champion with Dustin Rhodes.
What I also noticed during this match, there was no Mercedes on the card tonight.
No.
For those of you that don't know, Sammy Guevara had made some comments about Mercedes Moné back in the day that were less than pleasant. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but it looks like there's still heat there, Bottles, with her. That's just what I'm taking. He's been on a couple of shows. They have not interacted. They have not been on the same card. They have not been on the same TV bookings or recordings. So it kind of makes you think maybe this thing hasn't gone away right. Is it just me?
It's not just you.
Okay.
It's not just you.
Making sure. I wanted to ask you this tonight. Was this a hardcore match? And I missed the memo.
No.
They start fighting. Ricochet and Guantanamo Bay start fighting. And they fight all the way up. Sammy
Get Mo Jones. Get Mo Jones.
They start fighting up the ramp. And the ref doesn't count them out. No, what does the ref do? He joins them in the fracas. What are you guys doing out here? Why? You should get back in the ring. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, no. I'm not going to count. I'll just stand here like a feckless fucking doof.
Well, if that's the referee's real voice, he sounds like Mr. Herbert from Family Guy. That was pretty good, pal. You could tweak that a little bit, and that could be Mr. Herbert from Family Guy.
Why don't you get my man for some free candy, Sammy? Sammy decides it's time to climb the entrance tunnel because I'm going to do the backflip onto you, and does the I'm crazy thing, and sure enough, does it. So
why would he do that? Why is that needed? Why is that needed to do that and risk busting your head open? Or hurting a new star that they just signed to the company. Why is that needed? It's not a pay-per-view moment. I don't understand. But he just lets them go out and do whatever they want to do, is basically what it is. Go out there, try to get yourself over, fuck the other guy.
He does a Guantanamo Bay splash off the top of the ramp. Like, that's his
Get Mo Jones over here. Here he comes.
They fight forever. Ricochet wins.
Fight forever.
Here we go. They fight forever. Out comes Manitar. He spears Guantanamo Bay. Back comes, I'm sorry, he does Ricochet in. Guantanamo Bay comes back in to save him with a chair. Sorry.
That was Mortos the Goat Boy. That's all that was. Mortos the Goat Boy took out Ricochet because reasons. That's why. Because of reasons. Ricochet's booking's really on the upswing now.
Why is he having these meaningless battles? Why is he not cutting a promo to announce, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, and somebody comes out and says, hey, man, fuck you, I want to fight you. You're new here. I want to make a name for myself, and you seem to think you're a big fish in a small pond. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm going to walk your ass dry on this next match. Nope, we get this shit. We get 4,000 moves.
Do you think Action Andretti can cut a promo? Do you think Dante Martin can cut a promo? They're flippy-floppy guys.
If you can't, then you've got no business in this business. That's why you draw people, because you can cut a promo and tell a motherfucker to go to hell.
You can have Ospreay cut a promo. You can have Ospreay cut a promo on Ricochet. But Ospreay sounds like he took a Novocaine needle in his tongue from Hangman Adam Page. He can't cut a promo. He's horrible. No one back there can cut a promo.
I'm not going to lie. This next part of the show got me.
Hang on a second.
What was the
numbers?
Yeah. I'd like to hear them numbers.
Here are the
Are they milky sweet?
Oh, hi, Chris. We've got 888. We started out with 888. We went down to 704 by 815. 830, we had 685 at 830. And let's see. At 845, we're about to talk about the content in the 845 to 9 o'clock quarter hour, where It actually went up a little bit, Don, to 691.
Okay. I was going to say, they've got to rebound some to get that number back. They've got to come up eventually.
Right.
Takeshita comes out. Uh-oh. Here we go. See? I hope you're happy, Bottles.
I pop when Bottles says, it's fantastic, Don. When the segment really sucks, continue to entertain us, pals. You got it, pal. We do our best.
We're doing our best. Thank you again, Real One.
I'm just
appreciate the input.
Don had a bad day, and I'm just trying to pop Don. That's all.
Well, what got me in this whole thing? Takeshita comes out and interrupts Okada. This is something I think I'd like to see. I'm serious. I'm not kidding.
Did they have subtitles up on the screen?
No, they did not. Takeshita looks like he's in great shape. He really does. He looks like he's working out, like he's taking it seriously. I'm interested in this match because I've heard that they had some really good storytelling type matches in Japan. It wasn't just let me hit you with 500 moves. Sell the shit out of it. We'll do something else for another 20 minutes. I've heard they put on some good matches. I would very much like to see this match. I want to see what I've been missing out on. I want to see what the hype is with these two guys because I haven't seen it in the States so far. So maybe the language barrier won't be an issue and we can finally get back to the nuts and bolts of calling it in the ring instead of laying it out for 500 minutes. Are you? I take it you're not really thrilled about this, but I really was. I genuinely was like, I think I kind of want to see this. I kind of want to see that.
I kind of want to see that too, Don.
Hey, can I come in your basement watch with you? You got any Cheetos and Mountain Dew? I think I want to watch this. If the next show you see me covered in Cheetos and I'm drinking a Mountain Dew, I've gone back in time and watched their matches so I can see what this is all about. So warn yourself.
It's the shits, Don. It's just the shits. We went from, the United Nations. What?
He said, we.
We, all the way home, pal. All the way home. We. All right, Chris. Well,
anyway,
Okada and Takeshita, I just, that was the time when I decided to go take a leak. Because what's going to come from this? Come back, you got Stoneface Takeshita. Cornette calls Johnny Gargano Johnny Same Face. You can apply that same logic to Takeshita. He's got the same expression on his face all the time. He always looks like he's holding in his urine. I really got to go.
I want to see this guy wrestle.
I really got to go.
I really want to see this. I'm not being a dick. I really want to see this. I'm looking forward to it. Well, let's move on. We can agree to disagree. Because Darby Allin is here and says,
yes,
I'm here. I hear somebody's looking for me.
And his same clothes. He's got the pink hoodie. He's got the ripped up black shirt. He's got he's skateboarding. He's skateboarding through the backstage area.
He did not. He did not skateboard to the ring. But I wrote this down. Here we go again. I was homeless. Every time this guy's on TV, he's telling you he was sleeping in his car. He loves to tell this story every time.
Now I'm making $250,000, $300,000 a year for the last 6 years.
He's making more than
but
that.
I was homeless. You think so?
Yeah. He was hummus? Is that what you said?
Who else? Homeless. Who else is going to hire the guy? Look at him. Who else is going to hire him? He's got the smeared makeup. He can't put it on straight. I don't know why. Maybe he's got shaky hands. He's sleep. I said he was sleeping in his car. I don't know what he was doing. And then
he loves to remind you he was sleeping in his car. He loves to remind everybody every chance he gets. He slept in a car of his own choice.
You really could notice the Herman Munster shoes that he has on when he wrestles, when he's in the ring. Those things, how high are those?
They got to be 3 or 4 inches. They got to be.
He looks like he bought the boots from Jimmy, the Jimmy episode of Seinfeld, where he had the big lifts on his tennis shoes, gave him a little more spring on the basketball court, the Jimmy.
Pablo says that guy sucks.
Repetitious promo Darby. You're exactly right. He probably went out there not even really thinking about what he was going to say. He's got the De Niro shoes. Let's hit them all. Put everybody in the chat up.
I didn't need to.
Let's do it all. Jesus Christ.
I'm giving Larry a moment because the son of a bitch is trapped in swamp water. He's in a hurricane, and Pablo put in the super chat, and he's earned more than just what he said. So thank you, Pablo. Larry, keep your snorkel on. Out comes Mox. Moxley comes to the ring, and Shafir is standing there like she's going to do something to this guy the whole time. And
now, I would believe that, Don. I would believe that. Her beating up Darby Allin, I would believe it.
No way. She would take that Herman Mustard shoe and beat her ass with it. We would have a old school shoe ass whipping contest right there. Right there.
I don't know about that.
He says, this is what he says. Mox was his hero. I looked up to you. And the whole time I wrote, WTF is Marina doing in the background? Why is she just, her fists are all balled up like she's going to do something. I'm going to get your ass. Stop.
She's not a badass.
I didn't get this.
She's nominally attractive. Very nominally. The last time I saw her, she was all jacked up. I didn't see. I'm trying to remember if she was as jacked up Wednesday as she was at the pay-per-view. I can't remember. Go ahead.
I don't want to give.
Doesn't matter.
I don't give a shit about her. I just don't want her on my TV anymore in the role she's got. So I'm done with that. Mox says, Darby, you're not ready. You weren't ready 5 years ago. You weren't ready 2 years ago. I want your title shot that you have, and I'm going to challenge you September 25th for the title.
Right.
I forgot Darby Allin even had a title shot. There's so many people promised title shots in this company. I have literally lost track of who the hell is in line for what.
Pac, Darby.
Now we got new tag team title people later tonight we're going to get to.
We got the new tag team title people. Now Moxley wants a title shot.
But here's the thing, Bottles. Hold on. Here's the thing. None of these people are fighting each other. They're all fighting somebody else. What the fuck are we doing here? None of the people that have title shots are fighting the people with the titles.
No.
What in the shit? Then Moxley says something like, we're burning down AEW. What?
How's that happening?
I don't know.
What have they done? Thrown a few guys around backstage? What else have they done?
Mad at? Is he mad at the Bucks who are the EVPs running the show? Is he mad at the owner? Who's he got beef with? I don't understand any of this.
He's probably pissed off at the high price of vodka nowadays.
Sorry if I'm being loud, but I don't understand it, and I'm really trying. But this shit was such a mess. I didn't know where this was going. I just didn't. Anyway,
so now by AEW, by Tony Khan booking logic, he can go ahead and take that casino chip from the Casino Battle Royal. He could take that or whatever that Battle Royal was in many, many months ago for his title shot. He could take that and put it on the line with Moxley.
It just doesn't make any sense, Bottles. So.
They just go ahead and do it. We won't even ask the guys who actually run the show, supposedly the Young Bucks. We're not going to ask Tony Khan. We're just going to go ahead and do it.
We got guys challenging guys for their title shots now. It's gone too far. This keeps happening over and over again. And the guys that win the title shots never face the guys that have the titles. It's just asinine at this point in time. Alex Marvez is
hang on a second. Then they'll go ahead and they'll have a title opportunity eliminator match. Where if you actually wrestle the guy who's the champ. You'll wrestle the guy who's the champ. And then if you can beat him, you're going to go ahead and have a title match with him at the show of their choice.
When this ended, I threw a glass on the ground and walked on the shards of glass to make sure I still had a soul because I felt like it had been sucked out of my body. I've got to have some feeling back. Wife was getting upset. The dogs were barking. Shit was flying. I'm bleeding. I was like, well, I'm an AEW wrestler now. Let me smear this shit on my head and I'll get back to work. Let me start taking my notes again.
I took chili and put it on my bare feet and had the dogs gnaw my toes off so I could just feel again. I wanted to feel anything after watching this segment. Thought it was fantastic.
Alex Marvez sucks ass. Why does this guy have a job as a backstage person? Why?
He's horrendous. He's horrendous. He's a friend of the Young Bucks. He's horrendous. He used to be a dirt sheet writer from many, many years ago. Many years ago. But he's horrendous.
Nigel
Alex Marvez, I heard he shaves himself with a broken light tube. Is that true? Have you heard that story? No. Go ahead.
Nigel interrupts Chris Angel. Chris Angel is so bad in this role now. I don't even know what to say.
Who? The magician?
Not Chris Angel. Dude, forgive me. What's his name? Chris what? I'm having a day, pal.
Chris Angel was so offended by this program, he levitated up to the ceiling, the roof of the arena.
What's his name?
Christopher Daniels. Dollar Store Adam Pierce, for Christ's sake. Folks, Dollar Store Adam Pierce.
I have been in court all week. I found out I had a death in the family. I have got a lot of shit going on right now. Sorry for getting the names wrong. But Christopher Daniels in this role is awful. You couldn't watch this and think this was any good. Sorry I said Chris Angel. I wish it was. I might have been more entertained. He would have levitated out of the building. I don't need to
levitated right out of the building.
Did you not notice when he interrupted Chris Daniels, he was like, "Huh? I gotta go."
Like he just woke up.
Yeah, like what the hell? Again, I apologize. I'm sorry I'm butchering names like sock face, but it's been a long week.
Well, let's go over the numbers.
Please
45 to 9 was 691. 691,000. And then when we got the big when we had the magic show with Chris Angel, that went up to 720. 9 to 9:15. He levitated out of the building, and then he came back down. He pointed a finger at Queen Aminata and made her clothes fall off. It was amazing. And then he cut Jack Perry in half with a saw.
I'm going to just stick to what you call him, Dollar Store Adam Pierce, and that's what I'm going to stick to from now on.
There you go.
That'll work.
There you go.
Mariah May came out to fight Queen Abdullah Oblongata. And I didn't want to watch this shit
accompanied by her manager, occipital protuberance.
I didn't want to watch any of this.
The girls are doing the "you hit me, I'll hit you" thing.
Yes,
they're doing that now.
The hell with this. She called out her Japanese lover. I don't give a shit. I'm moving on.
Well, the neckbeards liked it, Don, because it hit 720.
Imagine that.
Yes.
Virgins.
Yes. The tarps came out. The dollar store tarps came out on the living room floor. Or the basement floor. I'm sorry, the basement floor. Yes.
I can't get through this fast enough. The Bucks moment, the backstage mic sucked again. Again with them backstage, it sucked again. I was like, they have seriously screwed this up. We get a Saraya recap.
Why?
Jericho.
Why?
Oh, no.
Why? She's the queen of Rampage.
Why?
Saraya.
I didn't get it either.
Horrible.
Go away or I will taunt you a second time.
Horrible.
Jericho comes out with his learning tree versus the Iron Dudes or whatever the hell their name was. You know who won? He's like,
Iron
let me show you.
Don.
Iron Dudes. I said that.
I thought we would get another nipple biting segment in this because the men who were involved in that fateful clip from Collision that night, where one of them, I think it
was that the guy that just jumped over the top rope. Was that him?
Yes, he got kicked in the face and fell backwards like 15 feet and fell over the top rope. Jumped over. Like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I was in the wrong spot when you kicked me, but I'm out of here now. It was also the big guy was in there, and he was the guy who had his nipple bit by Low Plains Drifter. So I wanted to see more nipple biting. I would have seen more of that in this match, but they robbed me of it. It would have been the best thing on the show. Look how bad this is.
Chris Jericho had Cassidy's backpack. He said, I'm going to reach in here and show you what he got. He reaches in the backpack and pulls out, and it's a picture of him and his friends. Oh, isn't that
Who aren't even friends anymore.
I know.
Not friends anymore in storyline.
Well, he's reminiscent. I reminisce. And then he cuts to the back. Pockets is back there. He's like, I got your money. Here's one. Here's two. I got $3. And then they dump a bunch of change onto the Bentley. Corny as hell. Just corny.
The crowd went mild when they saw all this. The crowd went banana. No, they didn't. They just sat there and stared. A lot of this show is just comprised of people sitting there just staring.
I was staring. That's for damn sure. Let me get through this. God, give me strength. Nigel comes out and
Nigel
says
McGuinness, the announcer. The weekend announcer.
The announcer.
The collision announcer.
Comes out and says, I'm coming out of retirement to face you, Bryan Danielson, because you have stolen my entire career. I should have been in your position. So I get to fight you next week because Tony Khan said so.
At Grand Slam.
Someone make any of this make any sense.
Moxley can't get the shot. Darby doesn't want to wrestle Danielson anytime soon. It seems like he's not even talking about it. Talking about it. But Moxley can't wrestle Danielson because he's allegedly not cleared. But then McGuinness can just step right in and take the title shot and supersede those guys. This is Tony Khan's wet dream match, one of his many wet dream matches over the years. Nigel McGuinness, who's a shadow of his former self, against Daniel Bryanson, who's a way shadow of his former self, plagued with osteoporosis, a bad neck, multiple concussions. They're going to trot him out again. And his wife should say, no, you're not doing this. You're not doing this. Just retire right now. One more match and you're done. That's what his wife should say. But she's rolling into greenbacks with the money mark, Tony Khan. I'd like to know what he's getting paid. Danielson.
I don't understand why this match is happening. It doesn't have any kind of a story for me. It doesn't connect with me.
Ring of Honor. You're going to be a big Ring of Honor fan from the turn of the century.
10, 15 years ago, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me put it to you this way.
The hell out of one other.
This would be like, I don't know. Let's just put it in perspective here. Another unknown wrestler, Corey Graves, didn't really get over as a big star, but he's gotten over as an announcer, right? He's much more well-known, I think, than Nigel is an announcer. That would be like Nigel coming out on SmackDown this Friday and debuting and saying, Cody Rhodes, I am going to wrestle you not for the belt, but because we have a history. I'm coming out of retirement. I don't understand any of this. It just doesn't connect with me as a fan trying to understand this. I think it's awful. It's not for the title. So again, we're having more champions wrestle without the title on the line. I don't understand this at all.
Look. Him and Danielson, they had many a match where they beat the hell out of each other. Headbutting the ring post, and headbutting each other, doing the headbutting spots. Danielson detached one of his retinas in his eyes.
Cool.
By doing the headbutt spot.
How long ago was
McGuinness, multiple concussions from McGuinness. McGuinness had that from headbutting Danielson and headbutting the ring post and all the crazy shit they would do. McGuinness had a tryout for NXT 10 years ago. And he failed because he tore both of his biceps during the string of matches in Ring of Honor and never got them fixed because he didn't want to miss any time. He thought he was on a roll. And then he contracted hepatitis C or B or whatever it was. Some low-grade form of hepatitis. And they said, well, no, you can't wrestle. Sorry. The concussions, the history of that, the biceps, the hepatitis.
I don't care. I don't care.
Supposedly the hepatitis, he's clear of hepatitis now.
I don't care. I don't want to see this. It has no bearing on today's wrestling. I hear you. I hear you. Here's what I'm
great wrestlers, but they're past their prime. This is like getting, you know what this is like, Don? This is like getting
Hogan versus Flair in Australia.
I wouldn't go that far on the age chart, but it's probably like taking I don't know, who's in their 50s.
I don't care. I don't want to see this. It has no build. I have no history with it. I don't give a shit. I do not care. It has no relevancy in today's modern wrestling. It doesn't have any relevancy in this company, for God's sakes.
Don't you know the sickos want to see it, Don? The sickos want to see that match.
I'd rather slam my thumb in a drawer than watch this. I don't give a shit. Hook segment was next. I don't care. I said nope. Fast forward. Out
More
come
talking
the
Hook. More talking Hook.
No, less
the
talking.
worst thing you could do with him. Less talking.
The Bucks come out to sit in the chair to see who their number one challengers are going to be. FTR comes to the ring first. Of course they do. Ocean Spray and Kyle come out. Out comes Rob Zombie, and I said, fuck this. I'm not watching any more of this. I'm going to fast forward the rest of the show. The DVR ends. I said, shit, now I got to go live. No, I don't. Record this. I'll watch the rest of it later. Kyle and Ocean Spray won.
The guy who looks like Rob Zombie. He does look like Rob Zombie. He's lost a ton of weight. I don't know if he's got a medical issue or not. They ought to investigate that. He looks like Darby Allin's grandfather. But go ahead.
The last two segments of this show on the Overrun, what did they do? Because I did not give a shit at this point in time.
687,000. The Overrun was 679.
It dropped again.
Young Bucks.
That and it's just these gauntlet matches and these tournament matches never end in this company. No. Every week it's another. We got Rob Zombie shooting a horror movie in the middle of a tag match. It just doesn't make any sense. He's in there singing to everybody, slam in the back of my Dragula.
That was a good song.
It was a good song.
Yeah.
Just like Kyle or Bryan Danielson's match with Nile all that time ago. Fix AEW, Tony, because this shit's just getting worse by the minute. It's just
There's no logic. There's no logic at all. Everybody's doing their own thing. There's no continuity. Everybody's just going ahead and, you book your shit, you book your shit, we'll book our shit, you book your shit. And never the twain shall meet, as they say. There's no crossroads. They don't intersect. It's all bullshit. You can't get invested in any of this. You can't feel anything about any of this, except for, why am I sitting here watching this? And people say, Don, the neckbeards say, it's not for you. It's just not for you. I watch AEW Dynamite every week, and then I go back on Crackle. Or what do the kids watch the anime on, Don? I'm going back on the Anime Network and watch anime.
I don't watch that shit because I'm an adult.
I got to watch Mega Colossal Gundam. I hope this overrun's not too long.
Jesus.
Anyway, Don, let's do a palate cleanser right here.
Okay.
It's 8:18. I'm out of alcohol, Don.
Burn through the ditches.
I got two more things for you, real quick.
All right, let's do that. Like and subscribe. Hit the notifications button. We need your support. We're on the march to 1,000. We're up to 972. We appreciate all of you guys. We hope you're enjoying the show so far. It has been a hell of a day.
972. We're getting there. The little podcast that could. Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 500.
Oh, shit, that's out.
Yes, I'm going to read you the top 500 right now. Starting at 500.
You son of a bitch.
No, we're just doing the top 10.
Give it a top 10.
Now,
Let's
keep in mind, this is not just American promotions in this.
Right.
They've got the Mexican, the Japanese, the British. I'm just going to read you the horribleness of all this.
You should have sent me the list so I could try to read these names.
Well, there's only one in here that would be questionable for you. Mystico is number 10, Don.
Nope, can't. No. Hell,
Mystico is number 10. Number 9, the WWE champion, Gunther, is at number 9.
Okay.
Below the guy at number 8, our friend and yours, Jon Moxley, number 8. I see the peptic ulcer forming already. Number 7, MJF. Number 6, Damian Priest.
Oh my God.
Over Gunther.
Okay.
Damian Priest.
Keep going.
Number 5. Here's an eye chart name. Tetsuya Naito.
Nope, sorry. Shut up. No one saw him wrestle. Keep going. Never drew a dime.
Seth Rollins, number 4. Seth Rollins.
He hasn't wrestled very much this year. They've got all these guys that have barely wrestled.
Number 3, Will Ospreay. Number 3. You can make a case for Ospreay being in the
If
top
you like
10.
his flippy shit, no selling, I guess.
Number 2, Swerve Strickland. Number 2. He was a champ for the other company.
I hear you.
He should be in the top 10, but the
top 10 I'll
terrible.
give you.
Yeah. And the number 1 guy is Cody Rhodes,
That should be
WWE
Cody Rhodes.
Universal Undisputed Championship.
Okay.
So,
Can't deny that.
can't deny that one. Okay, ESPN recently dropped the top 15 most influential people in boxing, MMA, and wrestling.
Oh,
All dovetailed together. ESPN,
Okay.
Combat Sports, as they're called. Here's who ranked from pro wrestling. Number 13, Logan Paul. Number 13.
Mm-hmm.
Number 12, Tony Khan.
Okay.
He's got to be in there somehow.
He's
gotta
the
be in there somehow.
billionaire. Who gives a shit? He's not influencing anything. He's the money mark.
He's influencing people's pockets.
Daddy
I
said
don't know about-
sell.
Yes. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, number 6. Number 5,
Okay.
Triple H. And number 3, the great Nick Khan.
Who's 2 and 1?
It
Dana
doesn't
White's
say.
got to be 1.
Dana White's got to be 1.
Yeah,
2, I don't know who 2 could be. But
might be Oscar De
Probably
La Hoya.
someone
He's
from
pretty
boxing.
big in the fight game.
yeah.
All right. Bottles.
Just scrolling through what I've got right here. And
Excuse me. Sorry about the
yeah,
cough.
Matt and Jeff
Yes.
Hardy just still talking about a potential WWE return. Matt and Jeff,
No.
the great Matt and Jeff Hardy, hiring for your kids' birthday parties. One can walk backward and look like he's moving forward. And one can walk forward and look like he's moving backwards.
Well, the other one can also sing bad songs for your kids.
Yes. Unintelligible gibberish, wearing a thong and a loincloth out in the woods. That's it. That's it.
I'm going to sing some death metal to my dog in the woods by the pond. Everybody hold on. That's his song. Number 1 hit in North Carolina.
Number
in
one
that
hit.
area.
Yes, number 1. It's called Fireball, Don.
I thought it was called shit.
Fireball and shit. That's his big song.
Oh.
He's a big
Bottles, I've
fan
had
of
a try
gas
with.
station Fireball down here, Don.
Thank everybody for putting up with my insanity. Chris Angel's coming by my house here shortly.
You're starting to lose the propensity to actually pronounce English language words.
Dude, I'm having a week, pal. I'm having a week.
I like
have
what I'm
to
hearing.
run. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate all your support. Please like and subscribe. God bless you all. Hug your loved ones tonight. Hit that thumbs up button. We will see you in a few days. Are you good?
I know somebody you
want
won't
me to
see in a
else?
few days.
Well, I know
somebody
that.
you won't see in a few days. You have to get a shovel.
Till next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.